first period, excuse me. So here's the odd thing that happened last night. There was a collision between hockey's past and hockey's future and hockey's present. And it might seem like this just breaks down into two schools of thought, where one is hockey self-polices, and this is what it's good for the sport. They're gladiators on ice. The other school of thought is, you know what? We don't need any of this. It needs to be graceful and fast, and it's a game of skill, and that's the way to grow the game.
Figure skating.
The answer is somewhere in the middle, where one of the reasons why you had so many guys in the penalty box and the initial, puck drop had a huge fight is because modern hockey doesn't have goons. So hockey is at a real crossroads here, and I don't know which way they're going to go. Where without goons, you end up getting more fights. But if you have goons, then you got like a goon on your squad whose job it is to fight. So overall, a confusing mess, and like many confusing messes, it just ended up with people on the ground scrapping around.
Wilds, you're our goon.
Not to be.
When we need sending someone in, it's you.
Sending you out there. Yeah, sending Wilds.
Yep.
He'll take care of it. Drawing a blank, start in San Francisco, where Niners CEO Jed York chimed in on their quarterback competition. He said this, he said, quote, "Hey, if we're in a situation where Jimmy goes out and takes us to a Super Bowl again and has an MVP caliber season and does it again, there are worse dilemmas to be in. And Jimmy certainly has the ability to do that. And now that we know Trey is here, you don't have to put the weight of the world on that kid's shoulders, and he can grow into that position." So with that, Brandon, I ask you, Jimmy G's leash as the 49ers starting quarterback should be blank.
Yeah, I love that. Look, production dependent. If Jimmy G plays well, he stays healthy, he'll play. If not, then you're going to see Trey Lance come in. This is a good situation for the 49ers. The 49ers, Nick, played this perfectly. From the beginning, they were up front.
That's right.
They talked about Jimmy G being hurt. They talked about, look, we're looking for a quarterback. They talked about, look, if this guy comes in and Jimmy G is not hurt, if he's hurt and he's not playing well, then Trey Lance is going to come in and he'll be our guy. So I absolutely love this. And even Jimmy G has played it perfectly. Like, he hasn't complained. He said, you know what?
That's right.
I'll go out there, I'll stay healthy, and I'll go play well. So you would think that there would be more drama surrounding this team, but it's not. And the reason why is because how the 49ers have played it from the beginning.
No, that's right. And a massive turnaround in a week's time for Jimmy G. A week ago today, he was potentially dead by Sunday, and now he's maybe the starting quarterback in 2 years. Talk about, oh my goodness, the difference a week makes. But my answer is Jacob Ellis v. Ohio. And you might say, Nick, what the hell are you talking about? But you actually know what I'm talking about. That's the Supreme Court case where they defined obscenity as, I know it when I see it. In other words, I'm not going to put a firm definition on it, but you know it and I know it when we see obscenity. We know, you know, I know, Kyle Shanahan will know when they need to make the move. It can't be record dependent because the Niners have a good enough roster they could play really well and have Jimmy G not playing well. And it also can't be record dependent the other way. If they have the spate of defensive injuries they had last year, Jimmy G could be playing best football of his life and it might not show up in the win-loss column. They will know it when they see it if Jimmy G starts to falter that it's time to go to Trey Lance, Wilds.
You know what? Get yourself a sports analyst that can do both. Hot LeBron takes and insightful Supreme Court metaphors. Well done, Nicholas. That's why you're great for this show.
Thanks,
I'm the goon.
You appreciate that.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job there. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to say Audible City. And I'm auditioning, Jenna, for another job. And that job is Tiny Devil on Jimmy G's shoulder. Because on the Angel, it's just a normal picture of Jimmy G, all handsome with that 5 o'clock shadow. But on this shoulder, it's Wilds. And he's saying, hey, Jimmy G, I know they want you to run the ball, hand the ball off. Throw it. You got to throw it, buddy. 24-9 when you hand the ball off, nobody cares. Air that thing out. Call it at the line. Over Roethlisberger style. Audible City. So, air it out, Jimmy G.
I like it.
Little message from your devil on your shoulder,
like
Kevin
it.
Wilds.
Goon and devil. You're going to be a busy guy. Let's talk Giannis and the Bucks. So a report came out yesterday that if Milwaukee doesn't make a deep postseason run, it likely will cost head coach Mike Budenholzer his job. So Brandon, the Bucks firing Budenholzer if the team doesn't go on a long playoff run would be blank.
I don't like this at all. The answer is all on Giannis. If you're complaining about Coach Bud, then you really have two gripes. Your first gripe is, you know what? You have the best player in the NBA, some think that, and you haven't made the finals. The second gripe is, last year in the bubble, you didn't make the proper adjustments to the Heat, playing against the Heat. Like, did you watch that series? That defense was phenomenal. They played great. And your guy was hurt. Giannis was hurt. This dude has done nothing but transform this organization and take this team to a whole nother level. I don't like this. I think Coach Bud is an excellent coach, and it's really all on Giannis.
Oh, wow.
You have to have more than two moves. You have to. Wow. He has to have more than two moves. Everybody knows how to defend him. So this is all on Giannis.
Nope.
If they don't make it to the finals and Coach Bud gets fired.
Somebody, if everybody knows how to defend him, some of those everybody should go stop in on Steve Nash's next team meeting and be like, guys, here's how you stop him from scoring 40 a night. But I totally disagree. Listen, I like Bud, but I think this is reasonable and expected. Listen, a deep playoff run, I do not think means win the championship.
Wow.
I don't even think necessarily it means make the finals. I think it just means get to the conference finals, which would mean, by the way, they would have to beat Brooklyn. I don't think anyone will look at it if they get to the conference finals beating Brooklyn. Well, that's fine, but then he's going to be fired. If he doesn't get out of round two for the second straight year, he's going to be fired. And by the way, he knows that. He'll get another job, but he was the coach of a 60-win Hawks team.
But who are you
that then got
replacing him
swept
with,
out
Nick?
of the playoffs. And well, that I'll be honest with you, Brandon, that I don't know. But there is the Dwayne Casey analog of it was, hey, Dwayne Casey has reached his Peter principle. Let's bring in Nick Nurse, who nobody had heard of. They win the title. Now they did get Kawhi and LeBron left the conference. That helped. But so I don't think this is unfair, Wilds. But Wilds, you know who they're replacing him with?
No, it's not unfair at all. Oh, I have a take that if you're at home, you need to Amazon Prime a hazmat suit. This take is so hot. So be careful, or at least get some potholders out and put them over your face because of what's coming here. You have to make the finals or win the championship. You can't get to the Eastern Conference Finals and hang a banner like you're the Indianapolis Colts. That's not how it works. You need to go far. It reminds me less of Dwayne Casey, more of Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr. And I started thinking about Steve Kerr, Nick. Steve Kerr is not a rebuilding coach. As much as he said he loved being last place last year, it made no sense. He's not.
Trade for Kerr?
And we always talk about breaking up the Warriors, and we talk about shipping Draymond off, and we talk about Steph needs to go to the Lakers, and we always talk about all these moves, but no one talks about Steve Kerr. I'm just floating it out there as a hazmat take. Not that Steve Kerr should leave, but how about this? This will save me a little bit because I'm not a hot take artist. If you could clone Steve Kerr, I think the Steve Kerr
stop it. You were there.
Would be
Put the oven mitts away.
Well, I'm scared.
Why was just dropped his tank in dry ice? You had it. Why are you so scared?
Well, you tell me.
You're going to get a text from your friends
like
on the jump. Stop it. That's a great take. Wild says Steve Kerr to the Bucks.